Hello and welcome everybody from Düsseldorf, the sixth largest city of Germany and the capital of the German state North Rhine-Westphalia, which is the most populous state of Germany. I prepared you many interesting information, so I will tell these first, and after we'll visit the sightseeing attractions of Düsseldorf, so it will be worth to watch the complete travel vlog. So, the Rhine-Ruhr metropolitan area is the second largest metropolitan area of the European Union if we consider the GDP, and the center of this metropolitan area is located here in Düsseldorf. This area stretches from Bonn via Cologne and Düsseldorf to the Ruhr, so this is a very huge industrial and economical point of Germany. The river Düssel divides into four separate branches within the city, and then it flows to the river Rhine. So actually Düsseldorf got its name from this river Düssel, and back that time it was a smaller village, it was a smaller settlement, and that is the reason why it is called Düsseldorf. The suffix Dorf means in German language village, so it is very unusual that a huge city like this is called as a village, Düssel village, if we want to translate it. So yes, they wanted to keep the original naming from the ancient times when Düsseldorf was a smaller settlement. In the 7th and 8th centuries, farming and fishing villages could be found at the point where the small Düssel river flows into the Rhine river. It was from such settlements that the city of Düsseldorf grew. The first written mention of Düsseldorf dates back to 1135. That time the settlement was called Düsseldorf in a Low Rhinish dialect. Under Emperor Friedrich Barbarossa, the small town of Kaiserswerth, north of Düsseldorf, became a well-fortified outpost where soldiers kept a watchful eye on all the movements on the river Rhine. This area, Kaiserswerth, became a suburb of Düsseldorf in 1929. It is often said that there is a kind of hostility between the citizens of Cologne and Düsseldorf. The conflict dates back to the 12th century, even though nowadays the rivalry expresses itself in a humorous form, moreover at the Rhineland Carnival and in sports. In 1186, Düsseldorf came under the rule of the Counts of Berg, and on the 14th August of 1288, Count Adolf VIII of Berg elevated Düsseldorf to the status of city, but before that a large struggle for power took place. The Archbishop of Cologne wanted to take control of the whole area, and he attacked Count Berg. And what happened? Berg was also supported by the citizens and the farmers of Düsseldorf, and in the end the army of Count Berg wiped out the enemy, the soldiers of the Archbishop of Cologne. So they won the bloody Battle of Worringen, and that's the reason why Adolf VIII granted the city rights to Düsseldorf. In the beginning of the 19th century, Düsseldorf and the surrounding area was conquered by Napoleon. After Napoleon's defeat, Düsseldorf and the Grand Duchy of Berg became part of Prussia, and the Rhine province was established, and the parliament of this province was located here in Düsseldorf. In the middle of the 19th century, Düsseldorf enjoyed a revival thanks to the Industrial Revolution, and it had a population of 100,000 inhabitants by 1882, and this number doubled by 1892. During World War II, Düsseldorf was a location of a Nazi prison with several forced labor camps and sub-camps of the Buchenwald concentration camp. They kept there mostly Polish and Soviet prisoners, but also French, Dutch, Belgian, Italian prisoners, and a separate sub-camp for Sinti and Romani people. The city was a target of strategic bombing during the Second World War. The Royal Air Forces came here during 1943 many times, and during one night 700 bombers were used, so many tons of bombs were dropped on the city of Düsseldorf, and this continued until the end of the Second World War. The Allied ground advance to Germany reached Düsseldorf in the middle of April 1945, and the United States 97th Infantry Division captured Düsseldorf very easily on the 18th April of 1945. In 1946, Düsseldorf was made the capital of the new federal state North Rhine-Westphalia, and the reconstruction of the city proceeded at a frantic pace. After the Second World War, Düsseldorf's economy was developing so fast. Today Düsseldorf is an international financial and business center, a very important financial center of Germany. More than 30,000 people work in Düsseldorf in the financial and insurance area. Düsseldorf is one of the most important telecommunication centers of Germany. It is also leading the mobile phone market. There are many huge IT and telecommunication companies which placed their headquarters or their offices here to Düsseldorf. These are Ericsson, Xiaomi, NTT, Vivo, and many others. And there are also 18 internet service providers in Düsseldorf. Japan and Düsseldorf collaborate very tight since the 1960s. Many Japanese banks have their European headquarters here in Düsseldorf, and also many companies have their offices here. So this led to the fact that the third largest Japanese community of Europe is living in Düsseldorf. Approximately 7,000 Japanese people living here. On the first place we can find London, and on the second place is Paris. There are also many Japanese living in these capitals of Europe. The foreign population of Düsseldorf is 23.6%, and it is also very interesting that 273,000 people, so approximately 42.6% of the population, had a migrant background. One of the biggest cultural events of Düsseldorf is the Carnival, also referred to as the fifth season. It always starts on the 11th November at 11 a.m. always at the same time, and it reaches its climax on Rosenmontag, on the Rose Monday, when many people do take their funny clothes and colorful dresses, and it is a huge parade through the cities of Düsseldorf. It's a very famous event, and the whole parade, the whole festival ends on Ash Wednesday. So I started vlogging and made the introduction at this peaceful lake. There was also a culture museum in the back of me at the beginning. That's the K21. I will not include it to this vlog. There's an exhibition of some paintings. So let's get started with the sightseeing. And one more interesting information, that Moscow was a twin city of Düsseldorf, but after they invaded Ukraine, the Russian invaded Ukraine, this relationship was suspended. So let's go to the city center and discover what this city has to offer. We are now in the center of the old town of Düsseldorf. This is the Marktplatz, the market square. The market square is a central square in Düsseldorf's old town, which was created as part of the first expansion of the city in the 14th century and was first mentioned in documents in 1392. Today it serves mainly representative and public purposes and is only occasionally used as a marketplace. So this is the old town hall, Altes Rathaus, in front of us, located on the main square. The old town hall in Düsseldorf is the wing on the northern side of the market square, and the oldest part of the town hall complex in Düsseldorf's old town. It was built in the Renaissance style between 1570 and 1573 as an office building and meeting place for the mayor, aldermen and the city council. Previously, a house that had stood on the same spot on the market square and had been gradually become dilapidated had been used as the town hall since 1544. Today's town hall consists of a total of 5 wings or building sections, 3 of which border the market square to the south and thus from the actual heart of the old town. The first and the oldest wing is the old town hall from 1573. The address is Marktplatz number 1. The right side of this was completely rebuilt after 1700. In 1706, Matteo Alberti built a house for the artist Gabriel de Gruppello, which is now part of the town hall. This is the Marktplatz 3. In front of us, the white building. It was on the left side for us, but it's on the right side of the old town hall. In 1739, directly to the right, the old seat of the Bergische chancellors, the old chancellery, was demolished and the comedy house, Gruppello Theatre, was built, which was used until 1881 and then demolished. The new town hall, which was built on top of it with the very dominant tower top, was completed in 1888. So this is the new town hall in front of us. The new town hall and the former Gruppello house are connected to the old town hall at the right angle. So this is the Gruppello house, Marktplatz number 3. This is the new town hall, Marktplatz number 2. And this is the old town hall, Marktplatz number 1. It is a complicated building complex. I hope that I understood well and I could explain it well. So these 2 parts, Marktplatz 2 and 3, make up the second wing of the building complex. Here it is written Rathaus, and Rathaus means town hall in German language. It has a very nice door, and I like these flower buckets on every window. It's really nice. The Jan Wellem equestrian monument on the market square was begun by Italian Flemish sculptor Gabriele Gruppello in 1703 and erected in 1711. The Baroque equestrian statue depicts Johann Wilhelm, the elector of the Palatinate and Duke of Jülichberg, called Jan Wellem by the low Franconian speaking Düsseldorfers at that time. The Jan Wellem monument returned to Düsseldorf at the end of the Second World War. The procession was accompanied by torches, fanfares and cartwheeling boys. Cartwheeling is very traditional to Düsseldorf. I will tell about this later. You can even find many souvenirs in Düsseldorf with cartwheeling boys. Locals believe that it is like tradition in Düsseldorf to celebrate events or some glories, some positive happenings with cartwheeling. It has a long tradition here in Düsseldorf. The old town of Düsseldorf is very busy. In German it is called Altstadt. It is one of the 50 quarters of Düsseldorf, called Stadtteile. Quarters is called Stadtteile. The Düsseldorfer Altstadt is known as the longest bar in the world. Literally the longest bar. You can see why it is called so. In German, längste Theke der Welt, because the small old town has more than 300 bars and discotheques. Supposedly, each establishment's bar counter connecting to one next door. There's literally no break between these restaurants and bars here in the old town. I think it's interesting to live here because it's always very noisy. But 2,400 people live here in the old town of Düsseldorf. Düsseldorf's Rhine embankment promenade, in German Rheinufer Promenade, offers one of the best ways of enjoying the city's wonderful riverside. Opened in 1997 as a means of hiding one of the city's busiest roads. It's buried beneath the promenade. This long pedestrian route gives the city a distinctly Mediterranean flavor, lined as it is by cafes, restaurants, galleries and shops on one side and the mighty Rhine on the other. Running all the way from the Oberkassel bridge and connecting the old town to the state's parliament buildings, the 1.5 kilometer free-lined promenade encompasses pedestrian and bike paths. You can also cycle here. Stadtstrand, city beach, very interesting place. Nice place to chill. It's a long promenade. You can enjoy walking here next to the river. Only the Schlossturm remained now from the Düsseldorf castle. It was burned to the grounds and the remaining parts were demolished. So only this castle tower remained, the Schlossturm. Now it is home to some kind of sailing history museum, in German Schifffahrtmuseum. The Düsseldorf castle was erected in 1260 as a lowland castle of the Counts of Düsseldorf. In the night of 19th to the 20th March 1872, the palace, for centuries the landmark of the residential city of Düsseldorf, as well as a center in the life and urbanic fabric of the old town, was a prey to the flames. Remaining south wing was demolished in 1896. Today, the Burgplatz, whose name refers to the historical use of the area as a castle complex, extends on the site of the castle. This is the Burgplatz. So only the Schlossturm, the castle tower, remained. Beyond that, the only reminder of the castle there is an outline of differently colored stones that hints at the former floor plan of the Düsseldorf castle in the pavement of Burgplatz. We will not visit the museum. I'm not so interested about sailing, and as you can see, it's a smaller one. I was not expecting that Düsseldorf will be so nice, actually. The tower is 33 meters tall, and I can't find the colorful stones of this square. The Burgplatz means the castle square. Some nice restaurants and pubs here with terraces. It's a really nice place. So yeah, no indications to the old castle which I read on the internet, but well, it's still a nice place. I really like terraces, it's a beautiful place. The custom of turning cartwheels is credited to the children of Düsseldorf. There are variations of the origin of the cartwheeling children. Today the symbol, der Ratschläger, this is how it is known in Germany. So today the symbol represents the story, and every year the Düsseldorfers celebrate by having a cartwheeling contest. The symbol of cartwheeler can be found on souvenirs, and various things in Düsseldorf have cartwheelers. The tradition cannot be linked to one specific historical event. Instead, there are several stories surrounding the beginnings of the Düsseldorf cartwheelers. Probably the most well-known version is the Battle of Worringen. In the Battle of 1288, Count Adolf devastatingly defeated the Archbishop of Cologne. As a consequence of this victory, Düsseldorf obtained the town privileges. Inhabitants, especially children, ran joyfully on the streets and performed cartwheels. One story tells of a wedding procession in which a wheel on the wedding carriage broke. To ward off the impending disaster, a boy jumped to the carriage, held onto the wheel, and thus became a living carriage wheel. Whether the story is about the marriage of Jan Wellen and Anna Maria Luisa de Medici, or the wedding of Margravine Jacobea of Baden and Johann Wilhelm, is debatable. Another version of the story takes up the same wedding of 1585 between Margravine Jacobea of Baden and Johann Wilhelm. She is said to have been very unhappy about her marriage, but the cartwheelers who showed off their skills next to her carriage were able to make her smile, according to the story. At the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, large exhibitions, the forerunners of today's fairs, attracted numerous travelers to the city. The children discovered that cartwheeling was a lucrative source of income. While the kids initially shouted, "Für eine Penning schlage ich das Rad," for a penny I will do the cartwheel, more and more was expected in terms of payment. When the evacuated Jan Welle monument was brought back to the city after the war, after the Second World War in 1945, the procession was accompanied not only by torches and fanfares, but also by boys doing cartwheels. Cartwheelers can be found at several fountains within the city and near many small landmarks. The most famous is the Cartwheelers fountain in Burgplatz, with an inscription of quote by Hans Müller Schlösser: "Raadslegen wolle meer blijven, wie ik de München ook drive," will always remain cartwheelers, however crazy drives people. So now we are in the Burgplatz. This is the most famous cartwheelers fountain. Hofgarten Park is the first and oldest public garden in Germany. The Düsseldorf Hofgarten, the inner city green lung of the Rhine metropolis, was established back in 1769. The park covers an area of just under 28 hectares and marks the transition from a strictly Baroque garden style to a natural English landscape garden. A good third of it is dedicated to meadows where nature lovers can enjoy themselves. Among the park's many notable buildings is the Baroque Hofgärtner House, or Court Gardener House, former home of garden architect Maximilian Valle, now housing the city's theater museum. So this is the former Court Gardener House. This is the Schloss Jägerhof, the Jägerhof Castle. It was formerly also called the Venerie, French for hunting. In German, jagen means hunting, so actually it was a hunting castle. It was built between 1752 and 1763 by order of the Prince Elector Karl Theodor. At that time the castle was still located outside the city gates. Karl Theodor commissioned his master builder Johann Joseph Couven to plan and realize a more representative Jägerhof in the style of Lustschloss in Rococo style. Since 1987, the castle has housed the Goethe Museum with its rich collection of artifacts and exhibits devoted to Germany's greatest writer and poet. The Königsallee, literally King's Avenue, is an urban boulevard. The Königsallee is noted for both the landscaped canal that runs along its center, as well as for the fashion showrooms and luxury retail stores located along its sides. Nicknamed Kö by locals, The Königsallee is one of Germany's busiest upscale shopping streets. The Königsallee is some 1 kilometer long, lies in the district of Stadtmitte in the city center. The canal is some 31 meter wide and fed by water from the Düssel, from which the city got its name. Now we'll get to the canal. It's really nice, decorated with many statues, and we can find many shops along this boulevard. Most of them too expensive for me. The canal is some 31 meter wide. The entire boulevard is some 80 meters wide and may be perceived as an urban esplanade. The classicist esplanade was designed by architect to the court Caspar Anton Huschberger in cooperation with the landscape architect Maximilian Friedrich Weiche and the hydraulic engineer Wilhelm Gottlieb Bauer. The canal and boulevard were completed between 1802 and 1804. It's really nice to chill and relax here. The first hotel of Düsseldorf was also opened here. Hotel Breidenbacher Hof was opened in 1812, and other buildings followed shortly after. Absolutely amazing castle ruins. This is the ruin of the Kaiserpfalz, which is located in Düsseldorf's city district, Kaiserwerth. In 1174, Emperor Frederick Barbarossa moved the Rhine toll from the Dutch town of Thiel to Kaiserwerth. He was the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. To this end, he had Kaiserwerth expanded into a fortification, which was not completed in 1184 as often claimed, but probably in 1193 under his son Henry IV. The remains of the imperial palace that can be seen today date from this period. The complex was not designed as a permanent residence, and there is only one evidence of a single stay by Emperor Barbarossa on the 22nd April of 1158. However, numerous documents issued in Kaiserwerth bear witness to stays by later emperors. I was thinking that I never visited such an old castle constructed in the 12th century. Well, moreover, a fortification, not a castle. It's always confusing for me to translate it from German language. And it's a great view on the river Rhine. We are now in the Medienhafen, which could be translated as the Media Harbor. The docks prospered for decades, but lost much of their trade when Mannesmann closed its nearby pipe factory. As a result, the eastern part of the docks started to be redeveloped, attracting businesses in the service sector, such as media, design and fashion companies. So this place is a must for architecture lovers. The Medienhafen in Düsseldorf shines with big names. The star architect Frank O'Geary created a real Düsseldorf landmark with the three-part organically designed building ensemble near Zollhof, which we will also visit soon. David Chipperfield, Joe Conan, Stephen Hall and Claude Vasconi also contributed to the fact that a tour through the former abandoned harbor area is now a highlight for tourists. You can find here many strange buildings, interesting designs. The Medienhafen is home to more than 700 companies and some of the best and most popular restaurants in the city. In front of us is the Rhine Tower, in German Rhine Turm. It is a 240.5 meter high concrete telecommunication tower. Construction commenced in 1979 and finished in 1981. The Rhine Turm carries aerials for directional radio, FM and TV transmitters. It stands 172.5 meters high and houses a revolving restaurant and an observation deck at a height of 168 meters. We will go there, of course, to enjoy the view of Düsseldorf. It is nice weather today. So this is the tallest building in the city. Neue Zollhof is a prominent landmark of Düsseldorf Hafen, part of the redeveloped port of Düsseldorf. The building complex, consisting of 3 separate buildings, was designed by a Canadian-American architect Frank O'Geary and completed in 1998. Floor plans and facades of all 3 buildings curve and lean, reason for them being likened to leaning towers. The tallest building is 14 stories high and just under 50 meters tall. Each building has a different facade cladding, the outer 2 in white plaster and red brick respectively. The central building's stainless steel facade reflects material and shapes of its 2 neighbor buildings. The buildings have a total gross floor area of 29,000 square meters. The buildings are also popular with tourists who visit this region. let's go up to the observation deck of the Rhine Turm. The entrance fee is 12.5 euro. Now we arrived to the observation deck already, 168 meters high. And over there is the Mediahafen. We were there just some minutes ago. It's a nice view from here. And that building is the building complex is the Neuer Zollhof. It will be a nice view of Düsseldorf. So this is the Rhine River, of course. That's why the tower is also called Rhine Tower. Saint Lambertus Church is sacred to the people of Düsseldorf for several reasons. Firstly, the Catholic Church is a landmark of the historical Altstadt, old town. On the other hand, its church festival forms the spiritual background to the worldly pleasure, the biggest fun fair on the Rhine, which is still popular today. The three-aisled hall church, built in the style of the Lower Rhine brick Gothic, was founded in 1288, the year of the city founding. Its present appearance is the result of a fire in 1815 that destroyed the spire. The renovation was probably doing with fresh damp wood, which resulted in the roof becoming twisted. Legend has it that the devil twisted the church tower as he tried to uproot the church. Here you can see the spire twisted a little bit, but I wouldn't recognize if I didn't read about this. I hope that the devil didn't do more problems to this church. Let's also go inside, take a look. Absolutely incredible modern architecture buildings. I don't know how to call this one. A grass pyramid. Incredible. Lot of modern buildings. I don't know what's the purpose of this building, but it's maybe an arena, some theater performance venue. The architecture in Düsseldorf is well stocked with big names, including Daniel Libeskind. The New Yorker designed the building ensemble with a convex and concave curved facade for the newly designed square at the upper end of the Königsallee. Glass and travertine, a bright natural stone, characterize the exterior of the 5-story building. The facade is brought to life by the masterful interaction of materials and the slanted green niches. Since its opening in autumn of 2013, the Köbogen is an exclusive part of the Düsseldorf shopping scene. So this building complex is the Köbogen. The Rhine department store, Tesla, the Apple store, they're all here next to each other, very famous brands. I cannot really show you Johanneskirche, St. John's Church, because it is under renovation. With its almost 88 meters high tower, it is the largest Protestant church in Düsseldorf. It is located at the Martin Luther Platz. The church was built from 1875 to 1881 in the Romanesque revival style. It was severely damaged in the Second World War, but safe from destruction, and in 1953 it was reopened. The last major remodeling took place in 2008 and now in 2024. I have been to many places, but I never saw something like this. There is a cafe through which one enters the actual church. Cafe in the church, very strange. And this square is also nice. It is home to the Palace of Justice, Justizministerium in German. Karlsplatz is a central square in the old town, in the Altstadt of Düsseldorf. We can find here not only exotic fruits, regional vegetables, freshly caught fish, meat and poultry, bread and cheese are also sold, but also delicatessen specialties which fit into every suitcase and are therefore excellently suited for souvenirs. For example, teas and herbs from all over the world are also sold here, and the spirits and the famous Düsseldorf mustard. So many tourists buy these kind of stuff and take them home. Also many food stalls. So if you're hungry and you walk through these passages, it will not take long until you find some local foods, but not just Düsseldorf's cooking, also some Italian, Indian, French and Persian foods are sold. Here they are selling fish, their beef and pork. Some fresh vegetables. So this is the most important point of Karlsplatz. You can find local wine. And here are also some restaurants selling food, but it's a huge place actually, so there are many passages here you can find what you wish for. So this market is the most important point of Karlsplatz. Actually it fills the whole square, as I saw. Also sushi bar, or I don't know, puro sushi. Of course they are selling sushi here. I just came from the country of sushi, from Japan, so I will not eat here. I prefer local foods. Merkur Spiel Arena, previously known as the Esprit Arena, until the 2nd August of 2018, the LTU Arena until June of 2009, and also called the Düsseldorf Arena during the 2011 Eurovision Song Contest and UEFA Euro 2024, is a retractable roof football stadium. The arena currently hosts association football team Fortuna Düsseldorf. Construction of the stadium began in 2002 and was completed in 2004. It was built to replace the former Rhine Stadion at the same site near the river Rhine. Construction cost was 250 million euro. The structure's initial seating capacity of 51,500 was expanded in summer 2010, when some seating areas were converted into standing terraces, and it is currently holds 54,600. So this was the travel film about Düsseldorf. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if that's so, please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. It's very important to push on the bell icon, because this is how you get notified about the new contents. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Oh, that's la la life, that's la la life. Baby, let it be, enjoy the memory. Oh, that's la la life.